We all know there are plenty of classic horror movies that we adore just the way they are, but some could benefit from a modern update. Whether it's outdated technology, missed potential, or just a fresh twist to make them resonate with today's audiences, these films are ripe for a remake. Today, we're looking at 5 horror movies that are begging for a remake and how they'd work in today's world. First up is Maximum Overdrive. The original, written and directed by Stephen King, leaned heavily into absurdity, with machines suddenly coming to life and wreaking havoc on humanity. It's campy, over-the-top, and endlessly fun. But in today's world of internet-connected devices, the concept could go even further. Imagine this: robot lawnmowers going rogue and running over pets in suburban nightmares, drones dive-bombing into pedestrians, or air traffic control systems deliberately causing mid-air collisions while the pilots are trying to join the Mile High Club in clear violation of HR policy. The possibilities for chaos are endless, and we'd absolutely lean into the absurd. Think about a Wi-Fi connected vacuum sucking up cash or keys when they are needed most, or AI voice modulators breaking up couples or even starting wars with fake arguments. Then there are the funnier possibilities, like Wi-Fi enabled sex toys creating some truly gruesome but outrageous scenarios. With the sheer amount of tech we rely on today, and the ever-growing reality of more and more coming from cheap websites from unknown origins with minimal quality control processes, the movie could toe the line between ridiculous and eerily plausible. That smart thermostat? It's made your home an oven. That self-driving car you financed? It's ejecting you from the car at high speeds. It's Stephen King on steroids, reimagined for the digital age. The original The Stuff was a clever satire about consumerism and addiction, but a remake could turn up the volume for modern audiences. Picture this: a massive social media influencer, maybe a thinly veiled stand-in for someone like Mr. Beast or Logan Paul, starts marketing a snack that takes the world by storm. It's just some mysterious goop, and no one really knows what's in it. But that doesn't stop it from becoming a viral sensation. TikTok trends, Instagram ads, YouTube challenges, the whole world is hooked. Of course, we'd later find out that the snack is far more sinister. Maybe it's made from parasitic fungi, or even worse, it's grown from human DNA harvested by the influencer's own fans. That click here to donate your blood for charity link? Yeah, it wasn't for charity. The satire would hit hard, calling out how influencers slap their names on products for quick cash without a second thought. We'd approach Chopping Mall as a sequel remake hybrid, much like Halloween 2018. The story begins with a group of urban explorers who decide to film a YouTube documentary about the real dead mall, where the 1986 incident happened. The events were covered up, and the mall has been abandoned ever since, locked in time with its retro 80s aesthetic. At first, the explorers find nothing but dust and graffiti, but things start to take a turn when they uncover evidence of the massacre, but grow even more suspicious when more modern evidence begins to reveal itself. Skeletal remains of vagrants, abandoned explorer gear, and strange markings on the walls. Eventually, they stumble across the original killbots, which have somehow rebuilt themselves and reactivated. Maybe a glitch from Y2K that took years to surface. The film would maintain the cat-and-mouse thrills of the original, but the shiny neon 80s vibe would be replaced with a rundown, creepy, and desolate mall that adds to the tension. Of course, during the climax, the killbots are able to restore power to the mall, and that 80s aesthetic comes back. It's retro nostalgia meets modern horror, a perfect combination for fans old and new. The original Idle Hands was a fun, stoner comedy with horror elements, but our remake would update the concept for the gig economy and AI era. Our protagonist is Anton, a mid-20s tech bro who has gamed the system to perfection. He's overemployed, holding multiple remote jobs that he doesn't actually do. Instead, he uses AI tools to automate his tasks and pays offshore workers peanuts to handle anything AI can't cover, and even has an AI girlfriend because he's too lazy for a real relationship. His days consist of playing mindless mobile games, those empire-building ones with fake ads you see everywhere, and cashing paychecks from work he's barely aware of. His hot neighbor, a stand-in for Jessica Alba, whom Anton also watches with some conveniently placed smart cams, is curious about his setup, but he's too self-absorbed to actually step outside and talk to her. When his hand becomes possessed, the movie takes a hilarious and gruesome turn. Instead of his parents, Anton accidentally kills his roommates, who then become undead sidekicks trying to help him solve his problem. The story would follow the same beats as the original, but with a tech-savvy modern twist. As for casting, we'd want someone with the comedic timing and slightly slacker energy of Devon Sawa, but for today's audience. Joe Keery from Stranger Things would be a perfect fit. He's got the charm and humor to pull it off as evidenced in Spree. Next up, we've got an honorable mention that's not a horror movie, but we think would easily assume that role. Imagine if The Secret Garden was remade as a horror movie. The original story follows a young girl who discovers a mysterious locked garden and slowly brings it back to life. But in our version, the garden isn't just full of flowers, it's cursed. The girl starts noticing that the plants grow unnaturally fast, and they seem to react to her emotions. The more time she spends in the garden, the more it takes a toll on her, physically and mentally. The garden's origins could tie into dark rituals, human sacrifices, or an ancient force tied to nature itself. It'd be a chilling exploration of how far someone would go to nurture something beautiful, even if it comes at a horrific cost. For our final pick, we have Diary of the Dead. George Romero's 2007 effort tackled found footage, but its release missed out on the explosion of social media and live streaming. A remake today could center around influencers and streamer culture, injecting humor and social commentary into the story. Personally, we think a family vlogger mom would make a good protagonist and final girl. She's split from her kids in the beginning of the movie, having dropped them off at grandma's for a self-care day. But with the outbreak happening, she can truly go into mama bear mode, and the audience could see her watch history and recommended videos as a glimpse into how others are handling the outbreak. There's so much comedic potential here. A conspiracy theory survivalist YouTuber saying, "I called it," as the zombie apocalypse begins. A wannabe crypto influencer promoting zombie coin as a post-apocalyptic currency when it's really a pump-and-dump scam taking advantage of distressed survivors. Even could see a gamer live streaming his high score for zombie kills before realizing he's trapped. An even bigger twist could be that the wealthy elite created and hoarded a cure for months. Instead of saving humanity, they are proudly displaying bite marks as a status symbol. While the tone would start light, it would take a darker turn as the characters face the realities of survival. Imagine a side arc of a Jack Doherty-like prankster initially promoting OF content of his zombified girlfriend, realizing his clout means nothing, and finally embracing humility and humanity. A remake of Diary of the Dead could be a chance to blend Romero's social critique with the absurdity of today's online culture and sprinkle in the wealth inequality and distrust that's been building over the last few years. Honestly, this is the one we'd almost expect to happen, given how a large chunk of Romero's filmography already has produced remakes and unofficial sequels. And that's our list of horror movies we'd love to see remade with a modern twist. What do you think? Do you agree with our picks, or do you have your own ideas for horror remakes? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unique horror lists. Thanks for watching.